Have you ever wondered what revenge truly costs? Is it simply the defeat of an enemy, or can it consume an entire lifetime? More than 2,500 years ago, during the violent spring and autumn period of ancient China, one man sacrificed everything for a promise he made beside the bodies of his murdered father and brother. He became a legendary statesman, a brilliant strategist, a national hero, and ultimately one of history's greatest tragic figures. His name was Zixu. His life was not merely a story of revenge, it was a story about loyalty, survival, political wisdom, and the terrible price of seeing the truth before everyone else. Zixu was born into one of the most respected families in the state of Chu. His father, Fuchai, served as the tutor to Crown Prince Goujian, placing the family near the center of royal power. Yet beneath the magnificent palaces of Chu, betrayal was quietly spreading. King Ping of Chu had grown suspicious and increasingly relied on the corrupt minister Fei Wuji, a man willing to destroy anyone who stood in his way. Fei Wuji falsely accused the crown prince of planning a rebellion and claimed that Fuchai and his sons were part of the conspiracy. Without evidence and blinded by fear, King Ping ordered the arrest of Fuchai and demanded that Zixu return to the capital. Fuchai knew exactly what awaited his son. Rather than convincing him to surrender, he chose silence, believing death was preferable to leading his own child into a trap. Soon afterward, Fuchai and Zixu's elder brother were executed. Overnight, Zixu lost both his family and his homeland. Standing alone against an entire kingdom, he made a vow that would define the rest of his life. One day, he would make Chu pay for its crimes. King Ping immediately ordered every city, village, and border crossing to search for the fugitive. Soldiers carried his portrait across the kingdom, and anyone who sheltered him faced execution. Zixu fled across rivers, mountains, forests, and villages, never knowing whether the next traveler he met would become his savior or his executioner. According to one of China's most famous legends, when he arrived at Zhao Pass, he discovered that every traveler was being carefully inspected. Trapped between pursuing soldiers and an impossible checkpoint, he spent the entire night overwhelmed by fear and grief. By sunrise, his black hair had supposedly turned completely white. Whether this happened exactly as described or became embellished through generations of storytelling, the image of the young exile transformed into an old man overnight became one of the most unforgettable symbols of suffering in Chinese history. Fortune finally smiled upon him when a mysterious hermit helped disguise him and guided him safely through the heavily guarded pass. Zixu had escaped death, but his journey had only just begun. After wandering through several kingdoms, he eventually reached the state of Wu, then considered far less powerful than Chu. At first, the refugee attracted little attention, but destiny placed him alongside another extraordinary figure whose influence would echo throughout military history: Sun Tzu, the legendary author of The Art of War. Together, they impressed King Helu of Wu with their intelligence and vision. Sun Tzu transformed Wu's army into one of the finest military forces of the age, while Zixu strengthened the government's administration, advised the king on diplomacy, and developed long-term strategies that would elevate Wu from a regional state into a formidable power. Yet behind every reform and every political success lay the same burning purpose. Zixu had not forgotten his oath. His goal was never wealth or status. His goal was revenge. In 506 BC, the opportunity finally arrived. King Helu launched a full-scale invasion of Chu, and Zixu became one of the campaign's principal architects. At the decisive Battle of Boju, the armies of Wu achieved an overwhelming victory. Chu's defenses collapsed, its soldiers fled, and its capital city of Ying fell into enemy hands. King Zhao of Chu escaped just before the invaders arrived. Zixu had finally returned to the kingdom that had destroyed his family, but the man responsible for his suffering, King Ping of Chu, had already died years earlier. For many commanders, conquering the capital would have marked the end of the war. For Zixu, justice remained unfinished. According to the records of the grand historian, he ordered King Ping's tomb opened, removed the dead king's body, and struck the corpse repeatedly with a whip to avenge his murdered father and brother. Historians continue to debate whether every detail occurred exactly as described, but the story has survived for more than 2,000 years. Because it captured something deeper than revenge alone. It revealed the unimaginable pain carried by a son who had lost everything to political tyranny. Following Chu's defeat, the state of Wu entered its golden age. Wu Zixu, once a hunted exile with nothing but the clothes on his back, had become one of the kingdom's most trusted statesmen. His advice shaped foreign policy, military planning, and internal reform. Few men in Chinese history experienced such a dramatic transformation. But history has a cruel habit of testing its greatest heroes twice. After King Helu died, his son King Fuchai inherited the throne. Fuchai quickly defeated the neighboring state of Yue, forcing its king, Goujian, to surrender. Many believed Yue had been permanently crushed. Wu Zixu disagreed. He carefully watched Goujian's behavior and recognized something others failed to see. Behind the humble words and obedient gestures stood a ruler with extraordinary patience and determination. Wu Zixu repeatedly warned King Fuchai that Yue must be destroyed completely before it could recover. He insisted that a surviving enemy would eventually become the kingdom's greatest threat. Success had made King Fuchai arrogant. Influenced by the corrupt minister Boju and flattered by Goujian's apparent submission, he dismissed every warning. The more Wu Zixu spoke the truth, the more unwelcome his words became. Eventually, Boju accused Wu Zixu of treason. Without giving his most loyal advisor an opportunity to defend himself, King Fuchai sent him a sword, the royal command to end his own life. Facing death with remarkable calm, Wu Zixu offered one final warning. He declared that the king's refusal to eliminate Yue would destroy the kingdom of Wu. According to legend, he even asked that after his death his eyes be hung upon the eastern city gate so they could witness the day Yue's armies marched into the capital. His request was ignored. Instead, his body was placed inside a leather sack and thrown into a river. The king believed that by destroying the man, he could erase his memory. He was wrong. Only a few years later, everything Wu Zixu had predicted came true. While King Fuchai pursued glory in the north, Goujian quietly rebuilt Yue's economy, trained a powerful new army, and waited patiently for the perfect opportunity. When the invasion finally came, Wu was unprepared. In 473 BC, Yue conquered the capital, and King Fuchai committed suicide. The mighty kingdom that Wu Zixu had helped build vanished from history almost exactly as he had foretold. His greatest tragedy was not failure. It was possessing the wisdom to see disaster long before anyone else believed him. Today, Wu Zixu remains one of the most admired figures of ancient China because his story reaches far beyond revenge. It is the story of a son who refused to forget his family, a refugee who transformed a nation, a statesman who dared to speak uncomfortable truths, and a loyal advisor abandoned by the ruler he served. His life reminds us that wisdom often stands alone, loyalty does not always receive its reward, and history has a remarkable way of proving the lonely voices right. More than 25 centuries later, Wu Zixu's name still symbolizes courage, determination, political foresight, and the heartbreaking cost of remaining faithful to one's principles even when the world refuses to listen. If you enjoyed this journey into one of China's greatest historical legends, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us as we uncover more remarkable stories from the ancient world that continue to shape history today.